Hi everybody. This week's Parsha of Bo describes Moshe Rabbeinu's long and detailed instructions to Bnei Israel about Pesach, the first holiday of Pesach, the one they celebrated and observed while they were slaves in Mitzrayim, and the one that followed generations later. Amongst the instructions that Moshe gave them that fateful and dramatic night in Egypt, he told them al matzot umerorim yochluhu, that they were obligated to eat that first Korban Pesach huddled together in family units, but they had to eat it with matzah and maror. Now we're all used to thinking that matzah is a symbol of freedom. The Bnei Israel baked matzah after they had left because they didn't have time to bake proper bread. So matzah represented the speed by which they were liberated by God. It represents the idea of ending the slavery, ending the oppression, and even though it's thin bread, it represents the bread that was baked on the way to freedom. But in this week's Parsha of Bo, Moshe says, no, while they were huddled together that night, still as slaves, they had to eat matzah. But what was that matzah supposed to represent? They didn't need to remember that they were slaves. They still were slaves. So why force them to eat matzah when they're still slaves huddled together in their homes? Perhaps the message for the Jewish people then and for us is this. Then they ate matzah in order to push themselves, to encourage them to see themselves in a state other than they were right now. That while they were slaves in Egypt, at this moment, can they conceive, can they imagine themselves being different, being other than oppressed people? If you can rise above your situation right now and glimpse a future that's different, you'll have the strength to move forward. And that's what the strength of the Jewish people was in Mitzrayim, and that's the strength of the Jewish people now, to see ourselves better, different, other than we are today. It's a Torah thought. It only takes a moment. Shabbat Shalom.